Welcome to SCN Corporate Connect. I'm Greg Greenberg, reporting live from the New York Stock Exchange. My guest today is Jim Rao. He is a managing partner at Entoro. Welcome, Jim.
Thanks, Greg.
All right, so Entoro matches deals with accredited investors. So what makes your deal making special? Because a lot of people do it.
That's correct. So we actually are full investment bankers, so we vet transactions, but we're a little different in the sense that we use a digital platform called Offerboard, which is an internal board for us that we match accredited investors with transactions. So we do everything as electronic and as digital as possible.
So you're using technology to streamline the process. Can you talk a little bit more about Offerboard, why it's so special?
Offerboard is special in the sense that what we do is have investors come in, they get self-accredited, so then they're able to see the executive summaries of transactions, and if they're interested on a transaction, they can electronically just go and look through the VDR, the virtual data room, the PowerPoint presentations and all the supporting documents, and if they're still interested, they can look through the offering documents and make a decision on whether or not to invest and move forward.
So they're shopping for deals like they're shopping on Amazon. What's been the reaction so far?
A very positive reaction, and it's because it reduces time and cost. A lot of investors, family offices can look at something at 8 o'clock at night if they need to. You can do something on the weekend. You're not subject to time. You're subject to your own particular availability. So it really streamlines the process. So it helps both the efficiency, but more importantly, the effectiveness of a capital raise transaction to be able to match those interested accredited investors with transactions.
And a lot of those deals to date have been in the oil patch. These are energy deals. Can you talk about your background, because you're part investment banking, part energy guy. How did you get here?
Well, very good point. Yes, so I'm part investment banker, but part energy guy at the same time. Our platform and the pedigree of our firm is one of energy first, and then we've also added a number of verticals, be it technology, healthcare, and real estate. So we've actually broadened. My own particular background is I've worked for a number of energy companies. I've been an oil and gas operator, but I've also been securities licensed for almost 30 years.
All right, when you talk about securities licensing, you got to talk about regulators. How are you dealing with the regulators? How do they feel about the Offerboard?
Well, the Offerboard actually was effective and started in 2014, so it's been around for a while. FINRA is very aware of it. The SEC is aware of our product. But since we're matching accredited investors to transactions and behind a firewall, so we're not just generally soliciting to everybody on the planet, it's very contained, and the regulators have been very supportive of the process.
All right, and so where else can you take it, this new technology? Because once again, primarily you've been doing energy deals in the past, but you can use this for a lot of different industries.
Yeah, as I said, we have multiple verticals that we already are using, so it's not restricted to a particular vertical. It's really unlimited in the sense of where it could be both domestically, any vertical, any financial product that's within reason that can be done under general solicitation rules. So really
when you say any financial product, can use this for tokens, because right now that's all the rage.
Absolutely, and in fact that's one of our strengths. It can be used for securitized token offerings, and it's one of our growth areas.
All right, we're going to watch it. Thanks for coming on and talking about it.
Thank you very much, Greg. I appreciate it.
And thank you for watching SCN Corporate Connect.
Capital is a global investment bank that elevates traditional banking services with the efficiency of modern technology. The Entoro team combines technology with global strategic advisory, capital formation expertise, and an in-depth industry knowledge to support our clients and accredited investors through the investing process. Speaking with us today is James Rao, Managing Partner of Entoro Capital. Now, James, tell us about the services Entoro Capital offers.
Entoro Capital offers capital or fundraising services for companies and/or projects. This would include M&A, public or private security sales. The focus for us is on private placements for companies looking to raise between $10 and $100 million. This would include things like Reg D 506C or Reg S filings.
I understand you have an incredible digital platform, Offerboard. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Offerboard is a digital securities platform designed to raise money efficiently and effectively as possible. It is designed for accredited investors and institutions. What we do is we post projects, we notify potential investors. Those investors will self-accredit or tell us that they are accredited for looking at these projects. They have the opportunity to review the projects at their leisure or speed. If interested, the investor can move forward easily through the investment process from start to finish, review, process, and pay for securities easily.
And finally, any other advice for companies seeking investment help?
The best advice for any company seeking capital, funds to expand their operations or new projects is be prepared. You can never be too prepared when raising capital. That means you need to have all of your due diligence in order, you need to have your executive summaries, your investment PowerPoint presentation ready, you need to have your FAQs, you need to have a briefing book, those things that most investors would ask. You need to be prepared for anything that anyone might ask. A solid financial model, a clear focus, understanding what your metrics are going to be for success.
Thanks, James. Visit entoro.com to learn more.
Blockchain finance company. Where? To the beautiful mountains of Wyoming. This after the state there passed legislation making it a friendly place for blockchain companies. Come in, James Rao, and Toro Capital Managing Partner. James, you're from Texas, right?
Correct.
So you're moving north, and you're going to set up shop. At least you filed the paperwork to set up one of these blockchain companies in Wyoming. Did you give it a second thought?
No, not one bit.
And why is that?
Well, we're not moving all of our operations,
No.
but we're starting a new operation that will be based in Wyoming. So it's actually a new creation that we're doing that will support our operations both in Texas and around the country.
What are those operations? Explain to the viewers who may not know what blockchain is.
Well, blockchain is really a technology that you hear mixed up with a lot of things in crypto and everything, but it's really a technology that supports a lot of the, it helps on the audit side of activities.
So it's like a digital register.
It's a digital register. It's a DLT, sometimes distributed ledger technology.
See, now you're getting all jargon.
I am, but it's pretty much the way of the future. It's going to be quite
So you're able to
revolutionary.
buy and sell goods using this digital register as like the flow-through point, if you like, in the exchange for those goods.
Correct. We're actually using it more on the financial services side of the equation for ourselves. We are obviously in a number of areas where we use utility coins and security tokens, and it'll help us in those aftermarket products that we're looking to create.
So much has been said about Bitcoin and, oh, it's a big scam or it's just a complete bubble that's ready to burst. Although there are many people, I guess most people agree that the technology of blockchain is very much a part of the future. How quickly does this come on? Obviously, you're ahead of the curve, but at what point do we say this is just common?
Probably within the next 18 to 24 months. I think blockchain activities around the country they're making headway everywhere you look. The energy chain, the logistics chain, accounting, legal, you see it everywhere. Particularly in my sector, financial services, it's very apparent.
So how soon is it before I can actually buy stuff using cryptocurrency and getting the change back in cryptocurrency?
Well, cryptocurrency is just one form of a blockchain.
Okay.
I mean, there's others, there's utilities, there's securities. They get mixed up, so there's a lot of blending of the words, et cetera. But you'll be able to transact using cryptocurrency pretty soon.
Pretty soon?
Yeah.
We talk about it a lot, but it's reality.
It is reality. It's there's some regulatory hurdles or some things there that need to be ironed out, but it's coming.
But if it's all online, why do you have to move to Wyoming? Why can't you do it out of Texas?
Well, Wyoming, good question. Wyoming has a very pro-business state, much like Texas. It has very much an entrepreneurial spirit. It's a great place to recruit people to. The overall cost of living there is low, high quality.
Very good. And you went to the University of Wyoming,
I did.
You not? So you had a little bit of a bias there.
I have a bias.
All right.
The calendar is the enemy when raising capital. Let me address a question that always gets asked. How long does a capital raise take? Well, the answer is it depends. It depends on product, the security, the amount, the terms, management team. There are no less than 10 significant drivers. However, there is one that's hard to control, and that is the calendar. You must take into consideration the time of the year when planning a capital raise. This is crucial for success. The process is extremely time-consuming and must be planned out with accordance to when investors are most likely to act. As can be seen from the graphics presented, you want to focus on the blue periods and avoid those marked in red. Total days, put it in perspective, the total number of days is effectively 195 days out of 365. If the weekends are excluded, that number becomes 150 days. From a time frame, fundraising can be a long process, usually lasting between 3 and 6 months, but may take up over a year. Optimal time, the best time to begin and execute the capital raise process has been shown to be the first 2 quarters of the year. Winter and spring, starting in the second half of January, is usually the best time of the year all the way until mid-July, when investors tend to leave for summer vacation. This is the largest window of the year and therefore usually the most productive. To be ready for this time, it's recommended to begin preparations in the fourth quarter of the previous year and must start no later than the beginning of March to be effective. This total period is around 120 days. In the summer, from mid-July until the beginning of September, investors tend to travel and be difficult to reach. This time period can be productive, but August can be frustrating. In the fall, this period is roughly 75 days and is significantly shorter than the first window of the year. Because of the tighter time frame, it is essential for an offering to launch in September in order to achieve a closing before the holidays start, which is generally considered to be mid-November, right around Thanksgiving. As I mentioned, multiple factors come into play. Investor preferences. Investors have high expectations and typically have very specific preferences. Most investors turn down 9 out of 10 investments they see. As such, this is a numbers game and one with significant frustration to the issuer. Issuers must recognize the difficulty in finding willing investors. Management team. Management team is usually 50% of the probability of success in any project. Many investors spend more time evaluating the management team than the project. You can take a good management team and a bad project and make it work, but you can't take a bad management team and a good project and make it work. The team has to have worked together and has to have a strong track record that stands apart from the competition. Time-consuming process. A capital raise can be a very time-consuming process for any company and its management team. For a CEO to fundraise without the aid of a banker, they would normally spend around 60 hours a week. With a banker or other financial help, it is often cut down to roughly 35 to 40 hours a week. The path to a successful raise is most often longer and more difficult than issuers anticipate. On the fee side, work fees assessed aid in the capital raise process and depend on the size, complexity, structure, legal, road shows, and other factors that give a greater increase in the probability of success. On the expense side, you have marketing, event attendance, road shows, legal, accounting, advisors, etc. This can range from $50,000 to $1 million, depending on preparation, outsourcing, quality of product, and the factors for professional capital raise. On the expectation side, overall, no capital raise is ever easy, especially when factoring in the effects of the yearly timeline, and it's very hard, the unwritten rule in the seasonal delays. Expectation management is critical. An issuer knows their project. An investor does not. As such, education is required. There are many lessons learned. Some of them, preparation. Prior planning prevents poor performance. Leadership, management, and the track record is 50% of the story. You need to tell a simple story. Be able to explain the business or project in 60 seconds. It has to be a clear message. Keep discussions to 3 to 4 points. Complexity increases the sales time period. Margin analysis. You must be clearly able to demonstrate and articulate single unit economics. On the FAQ side, frequently asked questions. Prepare and be ready to answer 25 to 40 of the most obvious questions. Potential risk. You must be able to prepare a risk matrix of the top 5 to 8 items that can cause failure for your project. Again, to be successful in a capital raise, the calendar can dictate success. Plan accordingly, and good luck.